This July, Culture Connect sent 5 high school ambassadors and 2 chaperones on the first ever Madagascar Connect trip. Our goal was to build permanent connections with both local communities and non-governmental organizations in the country and begin relationships that will impact our community and communities in Madagascar. While doing this, we learned about Malagasy culture and were able to gain a new perspective on our lives in America. Throughout the journey, we made lasting connections with the people we worked with. They became our friends. This began with our first few days in the capital, Antananarivo, where we first met Daniel and Zoo, the organizers of Zara Aina's Madagascar program. The focus of the organization is to work with impoverished children, providing after-school and summer theater classes. The goal of these programs is to develop social skills and provide a scaffold to assist these students through their middle and high school experiences. Daniel and Zoo walked us to the Zara Aina Center, where we met some of the students for the first time. We sat in on one of their rehearsals, a play where each of them was an animal of the forest. Despite the language barrier, we were able to grasp the comedy of the show, and after they had finished, spent time learning everyone's name. Later, we taught them Duck Duck Goose, Gana Gana Gisa in Malagasy, while they taught us a game similar to Jack's called Su Batu. During our time at the center, we saw how the theater skills the kids were receiving taught them lessons about life and worked to provide a social education. While this was happening, Daniel explained the difficulty of education in Madagascar and the inherent social inequality that uses the French language to maintain the status quo. French is still an official language in the country, but it is only spoken by the upper class and government officials. All legal documents are written exclusively in French, and in order to obtain a higher level of education, fluency in French is necessary. If your parents don't speak French, it is much more difficult to learn the language, thus social mobility is limited. This makes school extremely difficult for the vast majority of Malagasy students who are not of the upper class, because many secondary schools are French-speaking. Therefore, in order to move on to high school, one must pass entrance exams written in French, English, and Malagasy. This system is designed to maintain the status quo, making social advancement difficult for the majority of the population. Daniel and Zoo and the Zara Aina team are working to dismantle this system of social inequality. This situation reminded us of the cost and inaccessibility of a college education in the United States. We then took the 10-hour car ride down to Ranamafana, where our goal was to now teach basic economic English to local artisans wishing to sell their goods to English-speaking tourists. We worked with 3 different villages for an hour each day for about 5 days. Every day, each of us worked with the same group of 2 to 6 students, making constant progress throughout the duration of our program. While in Ranamafana, we also worked with Central Valbio's Conservation Education Program, which teaches local children the importance of preserving their forests and how to live sustainably with it. For several days, we worked with this program, carrying saplings out to the woods and then planting them. Nicolas, a local conservationist, was in charge of the program. On one of our first days at Central Valbio, we had a very frank speech about the state of the forests as it relates to the people of Madagascar. The forests of Madagascar are dying as a result of climate change, slash-and-burn agriculture, and foreign intervention. Southern Madagascar has been marred by drought for years because of a dry spell worsened by global warming. As Nicolas poignantly stated, Madagascar is one of the lowest contributors of greenhouse gases in the world, and they fall far below their quota on emissions for the Paris Climate Accords. It is developed nations, such as the United States, who are the main contributors to this global rise in temperature. As he said it, we, the Malagasy, will be the first to die because of it. The final stage of our journey is bringing what we learned back to the community and working to spread Nicolas's message of action. That's why we challenge you to get involved, to join your local environmental club, and to do your part to combat climate change. Thank you.